Farsagrado now challenging hard, and then out wide starting to run on is well branded. Farsagrado took over from Sheniford, who battles back tenaciously, but Farsagrado goes on to win. Farsagrado a better length over Sheniford.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I'm joined by the punter's punter DK.
Yes, big day in the land of the DK today, Scooty. Anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah, looking very sharp.
Mock it up today, but anyway, we'll talk about that in a sec.
Clip it up and got the collared shirt on.
Yeah.
Nico Noonan.
Complete opposite over here. Hoodie and trackies.
Hoodie and trackies.
So what's going on, DK? You're going into racing.com. Hollywood's calling,
yes.
So we've had to push the show early so you can get in the studio.
I've been there at
We've been bazzled.
10 o'clock down to the Channel 7 studios down there at the Docklands, where racing.com is. So we're filming I've been asked to go on the panel for the Wagering Agenda show.
Okay.
Being filmed today. I think it's being broadcast maybe in about 10 days' time or something like that. I think that's going to be on. Yeah, so, hosted by Matt Welsh and Mike Simons are going to host. And
who's the panel?
Myself, King Richard, Sir Richard Irvine, or King Richard, whatever, from New South Wales, our patron saint, and Shane Curlier from Brisbane. So a bit of a national approach. Curls.
Outstanding.
Yeah, so, three of us. They'll be obviously dialing in online, and I'll be in the studio with the guys. So, big. And just looking at the run-through and the discussion, there's going to be a lot there.
Mm-hmm. What's the go? No holds barred or a bit censored, or what are you going to talk about?
Last time I was on there, it was live. When I did the Tuesday with Terry Bailey with Mark Rhodes, that was live. So this one is actually going to be recorded and edited and things like that. So
see what makes it.
But it's I mean, you see, Matt Welsh is pretty good, and Simo's a punter and an administrator. He doesn't pull many punch.
No,
it doesn't. So I'll just be DK and. Whatever makes it to where, makes it to where. We'll just can't worry about that. So.
You got any questions for DK to fire in?
Oh, we were just talking about off air before about the deductions.
Yeah, that's
that's one thing that probably a lot of punters would want to know.
That'll be getting a run for sure. I think the second, where the industry's at now, I think was what we're going to kick off with. Then they're going to get in depth with us as punters and try and what do we do and how do we win and stuff like that. They've been asked for audience questions and things. I think racing.com, and I put out something yesterday, and then we're going to there's going to be a follow-up show, I believe, with head of the WSPs and Giles from Racing Victoria, who can address questions that we'll raise and issues we raise. It's going to be a follow-up show the following week or something. Okay. They'll be recorded maybe next week. So good on Matt and Simon and things for getting that up and going in there, and looking forward to it. Should be a big day.
Be good to get an update from Richie Irvine to see what the minimum bet laws from the get-go. I think Racing New South Wales still hasn't fallen into line when I'm betting on the bookie smashers. You can't get on early, so I'm keen for that that to change.
It is a trial. I keep having to pull it back. It is a trial down here.
What for?
Bidding
from as soon as odds go up? Oh,
yeah, it's a trial.
They can't go backwards now.
Well, you can't. Well, you'd hope not, but it's been. I had to pull myself back and say it isn't locked in. It's a trial.
Wow.
But
true.
You would think, all the feedback's going to be enormous for it. Really, it's driving turnover. It's driving my stuff, our customers.
Prices
like
moving, stimulate markets.
Yeah. So add turnover. So
100%.
Yeah.
Something that is stimulating turnover is your little run in July, another winning month for you, and we'll just pull
big week last week.
Yeah, you're back.
Went 4 from 4.
Yeah, so it looks like a bit of a shaky start in July. But what the spreadsheet doesn't tell you is you tip 5 in a row. You're back 5 in a row prior to that.
Prior to that, yeah. So miles ahead was a miss. Bruno Stars was a good win. Then I went. And as I said, when I had that losing run there, that lunchtime read through to Raging Water, there was some. Upon reflection, I went and did some, look back and
soul searching,
and there were some negativities. All those things had similar negativities, so I sort of got back to the Sir Phoenix. Thank God it ran a place because we bet up. We had more on that. The place there was a big place. It was play zero. Was the patient survived once $4 to evens, just pissed in. God bless it. Gaius was we tipped it in the bloody price crack. I sent it to you to send out. And in between me sending it to you and sending out, the price bloody hemorrhaged.
Yeah, and then
so what are we going to do?
I took the worst odds in the.
Do we send it at 5-2? I said we can't not send it now.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to be like an oracle. I'm trying to pick the winners. Let alone pick the SPs. I don't tell people I probably should have said. Have something in the future on the Saturday provincials. I'll be saying have something SP. I've had three recent bets at the Saturday provincials. They've all drifted late. The markets are a lot tighter there. If I'm sitting them 10 in the morning, there's not many holes. And then I just went for the wages on Sunday. Farsagrado was just drawn well. they're sick to get out of the coffin. God, that was the only worry. But so that was a good way to finish the month. Finish strong. It was a good week for DK personally, and good week for the subscribers. And hope it was all right.
And Nico Noonan, you've had a good last few weeks in July, but all of a sudden you're boned off track again.
Yeah.
COVID strikes.
Well, what do you do? It just seems like the normal at the moment, sort of what we're dealing with. So hopefully, sort of within the next month, we can get back to the track. And I'd really love to be back for, say, Lawrence Day or days like that, where you see a lot of the good horses starting to return and build profile on them. But
is that the 8th? Which way is that? Is that the 8th or the 14th or something?
3 weeks. So it's probably not
14th or something. Yeah.
On the current sort
14th.
of trajectory we're on. It's probably not too much to ask for, to be honest. So hopefully I'll be happy if we're back by that day. That's my new goal. Get back by that day and just battle through the rest. And starting to adapt to do it off the TV, to be honest. The racing.com yard coverage is usually pretty good for the Saturday and the Wednesday meetings. So hopefully we can just keep chipping away and find a few winners for the punters.
I'm just seeing that on Twitter, it doesn't look like any owners on track until after the 8th. So the next 2 weeks are going to be a little bit lean if you want to get out to the track. So that's Michael Felgate just breaking that news.
Well, with the footy said they have no crowds for 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure.
We're lucky to be. He said we're lucky to be out of lockdown. This is Dan Andrews saying, we're out, but with very severe restrictions still, and there's no hope. But then we had another setback. But anyway, we'll just deal with it. We can't worry about it too much.
And what about the week off racing for a Little Birdie for me, given the Olympics, top rope and all that sort of thing? It seems to be business as usual, Fletch, and everyone's still bobbing along. So I haven't really noticed the break too much. I sort of noticed it yesterday with no Wednesday Metro meeting. But what about your perspective, DK?
Monday was business as usual. Monday was a database day, just catching all those races on the weekend. Had all that Mildura and Warwick, Nabil and Sale, and there's a bit of work to do on all those meetings. So Monday was due. Tuesday was good. Tuesday, I could see it when it sort of rang true to me that I sort of got to the desk just in the habit it has been for the last 18 months. I haven't been on holiday since 18 months ago, but pre-COVID, and sort of just got in the habit of just looking for, okay, where's a trial, where's this to do, and there's just nothing. I'm just staring at the screen, and then it was that when I said, no racing, nothing, take a breath. Took the kids to the park, kick the footy, threw 15 litres of weed killer on the weeds in the backyard. They're all sky high at the moment, middle of winter. And then yesterday, beautiful. Straight away, as soon as I knew we were getting out, some chance to get out Wednesday, I said to me mate, ring Ribera's, book Ribera's for Wednesday. Make sure we got it. Well, you got to. Where's the food? Because they wouldn't tell the pubs on Monday. And the pubs need a day to order, get all the fresh stuff in. So I said to my mate, where do we go? And he said, well, as John Sadler says, at Ribera's, tomorrow's menu's still swimming. So they'll be down the fish market first thing Tuesday morning, Wednesday. So we get the fresh. So we got to Ribera's yesterday and blasted into the seafood and white wine. So, that was good.
Nice little love.
Yeah, so no, it's great. It's been great. I've loved it. I've loved it. Take a breath, relax. Not have to worry. I can see the point of it now, and I hope other participants have been able to, some trainers don't have to go to the races, give some staff the afternoon off. Everyone can just take a breath, have a little
a lot different now, sort of, yesterday we were out of a full lockdown. Now they can sort of get out and do a few things.
That was it.
These last few days, even though the staff still got to go in and work the horses in the morning, most stables are probably finished by 10:30, 11, realistically. So it does give them a bit of the other sort of part of the day. Yeah, I haven't minded it, to be honest. So sort of Monday and Tuesday just caught up on a few other things. And then
you would have done the form, probably started the form for Wednesdays.
Just go through the form.
So it's really only 2 days off, really.
Yeah, really, yeah.
The Olympics is pretty good, and I've got a little sneaky roughie for today. I think it's the men's Coxed 8 rowing, the Aussies at 30-1. So we've been watching the Olympics every day. Top rope's been just firing in lots of bullets. So if you've got a $10 note out there, maybe the men's Coxed 8 in the Aussies.
Sickos.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a sneaky little tip for this. They hit the line really hard after a slow start. So if you're looking for a bet in the rowing over the next few days, the men's Coxed 8, I don't know if it's tomorrow or Saturday, but worth a little nibble at the 30s. They're much better than a 30-1 chance.
He's versatile, top rope, I'll tell you. He's versatile.
He is.
God.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
Big
amazing.
Researcher.
He's amazing.
Yeah. It's going to be a cracking show. We've got Moonee Valley Racing back this week. The card looks pretty strong there. Morphettville have got the double header. It's going to be Friday, Saturday racing. So I think they go the Parks and then they go the normal Morphettville track. So we've got Beat the Bagman there. And our mate Johnny Walter, I spoke to him on the phone the other day. He's finally made it back to Australian shores. We're going to just check in and do a mental health check for Walt.
Hotel quarantine.
He's in hotel quarantine. So he's tweeting out there before. He's got the golf clubs in there. He's been hitting balls into the curtains. And he'll give us a bit of an update on his Racing New South Wales situation. He'll break his silence there. But up first, we've got a sneaky little guest here. We've got Anthony
the Mayor of Bendigo.
Jupp. Yeah, the Mayor of Bendigo is going to join us online now. Welcome to the show, Juppster.
Live from Bendigo.
DK, Nico, yep, very fresh up here this morning.
Looks a bit tropical, Juppy. All rugged up there. How many layers you got on?
Well, this is a true 80s style winter we've had up here. It's either rained every other day or it's been freezing cold. And so this is what I remember when I was a kid. And it hasn't exactly helped my mood, DK.
Oh, what's happening, Juster? I thought you'd be nice and fresh after the week off in Victorian racing.
Well, have we had a week off? Have they stopped whinging yet? Now, it used to be that the biggest whingers on the racecourse were the bookies. And if the bookies stopped whinging, you knew that was imminent doom. If bookies weren't whinging about something, but they've been completely surpassed now by the trainers.
Yeah,
they're whinging that they're working too hard. They're whinging that they give them a week off to try and give them a break. So we keep whinging about that. There's always someone not happy about something, whether it's we're going to race on Good Friday down at Sale. Well, that's going to upset the blokes in Warrnambool somehow. Everyone just needs to take a bit of a breath with them. But there was something that the trainers have been doing that DK touched on a couple of weeks ago. And being a solutions-based individual like I am, it sparked an idea in me.
You're an ideas man,
you brought up the scratchings the other day, DK.
Oh, I did. It's one of the banes of Victorian Mexican racing.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Mexicans because we're about to go over the wall and it's about time we started pushing back on our man, the top ropes man, PVL.
Right.
I've come up with an idea as I've been driving around here emptying bins that let's have our own pop-up race, DK, and we're going to call it the Scratching. It's going to we'll put back that $1.5 million that we've taken off the owners.
That's it, and scratching fees. We do a conservative $1.5 million, I would have thought.
Well, then we could pay down to 10th if you like.
That's it.
So there's going to be some very interesting qualifiers for this race. It'll be like the Drought Breaker. If you've been the most scratched horse in Victoria through the previous 12 months, you're in. So if you've got a really uncertain trainer that loves scratching horses, you need to buy one out of somewhere to target this race. And I'm thinking we've got to make it really uncomfortable for both PVL and for the trainers. So my suggestion is, and this will really test the punter's mettle here, why don't we stretch the Warrnambool Carnival out to a 4th day? Because I want the most chopped up, ruined track I can find to run this race on, so that it just puts doubt in their mind as to whether they want to run on a shifting track that's had 10 or 12 jumps races and 20 flat races on it. And we're going to target New South Wales. One of their biggest provincial days is Wagga Cup Day, which is the day after Warrnambool. So we'll put the scratching on that day down at Warrnambool.
That'll be the ultimate too. The trainer who scratches their horse from the scratching. There you go.
Yes, and just go, I'm not happy with the grant. And there is a mandatory either upgrade or downgrade in the track an hour before the scratching.
Yes.
So we're going to put it on for them so that if they're not happy, they've got every opportunity to pull that horse out. And then they will be charged the scratching fee.
So what would the field start at a maximum of 24 that the tab allows?
Yeah, just
full field.
And trainers have got to be strategic about this. If this race is coming up, we're just going to have bulk eliminations in the month before it, hoping they get a spot in fields that they can then scratch out of, so that they can boost those numbers up to make sure they get a spot.
He's an ideas man, Juppy. He knows.
And I'll tell you who would love to be betting on it is Sportsbet on their fixed odds, because they could apply as many deductions as possible on it. They'd love it.
Don't get me started on that.
Well, there has to be a punting component to this, Scoot. You're right. So basically, I think it's on Racing Victoria now that we've come up with this race. We're going to look after the punters here. If you're one of the WSPs that's operating on that race, it's mandatory that you have to give everyone a bonus bet up to $20. And I'm happy to do that because it's not my money I'm giving away. So the standard word from any punter, like, do you have a bet, mate? Yes. Can I have a bonus bet? That's the next sentence that comes out of every punter's mouth these days. So anyone who has a bet on the race, $20 bonus bet up to $20. If you have a bet on the race, and the WS please can pick up the tab for that, out of what they've pinched off as 3 deductions in the previous 12 months.
That's it. They'd still have plenty left over.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely on fire here, Jupp, sir. And how's things in the rural area with the COVID lockdown and the restrictions out there at the moment?
It's been very hard, especially as a small business owner. My wife owns a hairdressing salon, and she's a one-person operation there, so she's trying to fit 9 days worth of work into the next week. So that's proving difficult. But the one shining light that I did have, I'd been saying to everyone for the past 500 days that why is the Witchy Proof Bakery closed? Because they haven't had a COVID case within 150 Ks. And the bloke that went to the Carlton Geelong game stopped in to get a pie on his way back to closed the Witchy Proof Bakery. So that just shows how well I'm travelling at the moment, because dead set stop time.
Oh, dear God. And the crowd restrictions are going to strike at Metro Tracks. We're just talking about 4 news just breaking through that no one on track till the 8th of August. Have you heard anything about some of the big carnivals that are coming up in the bush? Anything? Is there any news there? Or
like, I would have thought, and Nico's been out there, it's one of his favourite places on the face of the earth. If you get out there to a synthetic meeting at Pakenham, if there's a better place on earth to practice social distancing, I'm yet to find it. Because you could fire a 22 through the joint and you wouldn't hit anyone. So why there couldn't be the handful of people that actually, like, they shouldn't be saying you can't go. They should be taking a minibus out round and blokes up to take them to Pakenham. Like, why are we bothering with these things that we've got coming up? Oh, we can only have the owners and whatnot. There might only be another 150 people that want to go take a joint like here at out at the Jockey Club here at Bendigo. That's a vast piece of land. And there might, if there's a midweek meeting here, there might be 150 people that want to go to it. Well, if you can, especially if they've got the vaccination ticket, then you should just be letting them in. Like, we've got to get on with our lives at some point.
You should be just every 50 metres up the straight. They should be just running fences and zones. It's time to think outside the square. And Juppy, I'll tell you what, this is just about a job interview for a consulting gig at Racing Victoria. DK, when you go on that show, tell them that you've got the man to solve all of Racing Victoria's problems. He'd nearly do it for free, I reckon.
No, they've already sent the invoice.
I'm going in the racing. I'm going into racing.com today, Jupster. So anything, any wagering, what's at the top of the agenda for you? Anything? Just quickly off the top of your head, we're talking deductions.
I think he wants to propose a scratching race.
Scratching, apart from his proposal for scratching race, but more as a punting. What's affecting your punting or anything?
Well, there was a question I was going to ask you, DK, with the changes to the minimum bet law, where it's, as you said the other day, is it really the race to the bottom now? Is it fastest finger first? It just seems to me that just from what I've noticed and talking to some of the pros and guys that were, and it's also been hard because guys that are relying on shops and whatever else to get some of their money down, they've been affected with the lockdowns. But it does seem to me the market's changed a little bit, where it's just fastest guns first as soon as the prices go up. And there's no real ebb and flow where it used to be the little guys that could get on for something early doors, then the 9 o'clock guys, and then the last 10-minute, last 90-second guys. It just seems to me that part of the market's come out. That's just something that I've noticed. And I've also noticed that, especially whenever we go into lockdown, the bookmakers do get much more aggressive with their promotional stuff. So that's obviously benefiting the recreationals and helping them stay in the game for longer. Because let's face it, 96% of the population are just the recreationals. So if we can keep them betting for longer, that can't be a bad thing. And that should help feed everyone else.
One of the silver linings of COVID has been the boost in wagering. I mean, it's been big. So, and catching 18 months ago, I'll mention this today, we were worried about, there was a down dip in the turnover. Worried about how we're going to catch the next generation. I would say we've caught them because of COVID, and all the young people are now they're betting on racing, soaking up all the content and everything like that. throwing it in there, sports and racing multis and things like that. So, so I think racing's going to capitalise on that, but I think it's been big. I think we have caught that next gen, which has been big,
And I think also another change there, DK, is when Sportsbet took over BetEasy and became this a Goliath, and it was sort of them and the Tab, and then there was the next middle tier, which was your TopSports and your 365s and your Ladbrokes. We were wondering where everything was going to sort of shake out, and that's one thing that has happened due to COVID with the on-course guys not being there.
It's been big. It's been a big change.
Yeah, the
I
proliferation.
was going to mention that again today, Juppy.
Yeah.
Like they're going to ask about on-course bookies, and like we were worried about, let's say, 2 years ago. So there's going to be this time, or in a few years' time, there's going to be a big four. They're going to eat up everyone else. It's just going to be scale, but it's gone the other way. All these on-course bookies. It's been a proliferation though of the guys who couldn't get to on-course opening all their shops on there. There's never been more online bookies ever. So it is cyclical, but it's just amazing how things can change.
Yeah, and some of them are doing really well. Some of them are battling with it.
Yeah.
But I think if I was moving into that space now, you've almost not got to go in with a bookmaking point of view. You're just basically going in as a marketing and a customer service sort of. You've got to come in from that angle, because you're not going to be able to compete with them on price and whatever else. You've just got to try and offer the best service you can.
Couple of little trick shots. Outstanding stuff, Juppy. I had no idea where that segment was going to go, but I think the proposal, the scratching, I think we're going to rally around that. We might even put it to the Little Birdie audience out there and drum up a bit of business here, because I think Jups is on a winner here. It'll be straight back over the net, and your move next, PVL, because the punters are going to rally for this one. I've got a big feeling.
Well, the only concern I've got, Scoot, is the state of people's health if they do tack a fourth day on the Warrnambool. Because normally no one's real flush by the time we get to that Friday morning. There's only one thing that can revive you there, and that's a big bucket of K-fry the night before.
That's what Nico said to me yesterday. He said, the last time I saw Juppy, he was trying to tell me, I drove him home from the pub, he was half cut or full, and he said, mate, you got to check out chicken nuggets with Big Mac sauce. I've been missing out. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's one of the world's great condiments. Basically, you're 24 for 10. And then you get 2 sweet and sour sauces and 2 Big Mac sauces, and that will set you right for the rest of the day. You'll be good to go there. But in saying that, I think when Nico drove me home that night, I haven't had a drink since then. So I've been very well behaved. I'm waiting for the grand final weekend.
He was very well behaved at the Bull too, punters. He wasn't too on edge there. But I think that's the defining moment in that statement. You got to get the sweet and sour sauce and the Big Mac sauce. Combo. That was the thing that kind of threw me off. I thought he'd just go one way, but the combo. So definitely go look at that, punters.
Who knew that takeaway Big Mac sauce was a thing? But Juppy,
you can buy it at the
another
supermarket
bill.
now, nearly, can't you? Juppy, can't you get in the tube at the supermarket? Yeah, well, that's beautiful. Special sauce.
There's one in the fridge.
Beautiful.
Outstanding stuff.
One in the fridge.
All right, Juppy. All right, we'll try and get a bit of a groundswell together and get the scratching up and going, and a fourth day tacked onto the Bull for everyone's liver. I'm sure that'll be a great way to spin cash. PVL's added a 10th race on a Saturday at Rose Hill, but bugger it, let's go a 4-day carnival at Warrnambool that coincides with Wagga.
IV drips on the way out.
How would you go on a 4-day stream, DK?
No, I'd be a scratch. I'd be a scratching myself. I was cast after the last one. Now, Juppy, just for those who missed it, just back to business bins. Now, how far are we got to put those bins apart on the street to respect you drivers?
Right. It's ideally a metre apart. We're blessed in this country, DK, with having vast amounts of space. So use some of that vast amounts of space by not putting the bins 2 inches away from one another. Put them a metre apart so I can let me grab in and actually pick them up and empty them, and then I won't throw them back into your front yard.
Here it is. Metre apart. Right. Beautiful, Juppy. Thank you.
Solving the world's issues today.
Learn something new every day. So the Big Mac sauce and bins a metre apart. Thanks, Jupster. Have a great day and a great weekend.
Yeah, Juppy.
No worries, boys. These bins aren't going to empty themselves.
Certainly not. So a metre apart, get those bins further away. Been doing it wrong my whole life. Something that's changed my life is puntingform.com.au, and you at home too can get their sectional pro form. It's $2.97. You get their database. They've got lane, bias, they've got jockey stats, they've got the benchmarks, they've got the lot. So heading into August and all the spring carnival, I'm sure if you give it a try for a couple of months, it'll turn your punting around once you can get your head around it. It's an absolute game changer. So puntingform.com.au is what you need. We'll take a quick break and we'll get Beat the Bagman to talk the double header at Morphettville Friday into Saturday after their washout last week. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot, got DK and Nico Noonan in studio, and now it's time to cross to Adelaide, who are just coming out of a lockdown, with our man Shane Adair, aka Beat the Bagman, on Twitter. How are you, Bagman?
Good, Scoot. G'day, everybody. Yeah, nice to be out of lockdown, and the state government gladly put on a festival of racing for us. 5 days of South Australian racing. That's a lot of benchmark 54 action coming your way, guys.
Outstanding stuff, and it was absolutely monsoonal rain there last Saturday. It's you got to be careful sometimes what you wish for. I pissed and moaned all week last week, saying, "Oh, they got to get the races on Adelaide," and then sure enough, they put the races on, and then God said, "Let there be rain," and there was lots of it, and I just did my absolute Khyber for the first 5 races. And Pindarik, he was a little bit like my betting. His wheels just spun in the mud, and probably came near the end of his prep, but the condition of the track probably also didn't help his chances, did it, Bagman?
No, I think he may have drowned at about the 400-metre mark there. We have to get David Hasselhoff to come rescue him. I think he was struggling a little bit. They did call it off. If they only called it off one race earlier, we would have saved our cash, Scoot.
Yeah, it was all too late. You would have been a big Baywatch man in your day, DK.
Absolutely, mate. Well, I was at boarding school then, at Assumption College. Mate, we used to book the TV. 18, you were 17-year-olds or something when Baywatch was on. Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson and all that. Oh, mate, yeah, there used to be a crew of us who used to lock that TV in whenever it was on. It was massive at the time. It's huge, especially for 17-year-old young fellas.
What about Nip Tuck? You remember that one?
Nip Tuck. I remember Nip
the
Tuck.
Surgeons?
Yeah, the Surgeons. Yeah, I remember that. That was a bit later on, though.
Yeah, there's one out at the moment in America. I think it's called Sex Life that I've been watching with Alana. It's pretty steamy.
Is it?
Yeah, so you might have
on streaming?
on Netflix. So you and Cheryl might have to check that one out. You on that one, Bagman? Sex Life?
No, I'm not. That's news to me, Scoot, but I'll have to dim the lights and have some me time this afternoon.
Oh, I think you'd save it for the missus. The storyline's pretty flaky, so keep that one for holding hands on the couch. I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about August, and the good horse is returning, but I'm really I'm really adapt to good tracks now. I'm sort of sick of the wet tracks, and I'm looking forward to the good 3s and the fast 2s, even though they might even be posted as 3s and 4s. But I cannot wait for that. But let's have a look at Friday this week, Bagman. You said there's a double header Friday, Saturday. We squeeze in lots of races, so Eaton and Panel will be fighting it out for the jockey premiership there. But Friday is the Morphettville Parks track. So a little side note for new listeners of the show and watchers, it's more of a leaderish track, and the first race that we're going to have a look at is race 3. I think it's the 36 beef handicap over I think it's a mile. Is it 1400 metres there, Bagman?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
over the 1400 metres. Yeah, we've latched onto number 2 here, Going Gaga.
Yeah, we've got the market here courtesy of TopSport. Great Diviner $3.10, Zoist $3.10, Poised to Rain $5.50, Wings of Pastrami $10, and Going Gaga $11. And the replay, as Bagman said, is Going Gaga here. It's in the North Melbourne colours. It's out the back, about to loop around them. Some familiar runners here.
Yeah, there sure is. This was Going Gaga's last win on the Parks track. It comes the widest. It's in the blue cap and white sleeves with Bet Doctor's own Kayla Crowther in the saddle this day. Absolutely powered to the line to win well. Look, this is no harder on Friday. If anything, it's a step down in grade. Just a word of warning for the punters. There's a lot of dual acceptances over the Friday and Saturday, so we will get a lot of deductions. So be wary about when you chime into your betting market. You may cop a little bit of a penalty there with quite a number of scratchings. Great Diviner, who's also in this race, is well in the market for a race on Saturday. But Going Gaga's record, 3 wins this prep over 1400 metres in grades higher than what it's meeting today. I think at around that $11 and $3 a place makes an ideal each way bet. I had it marked around $7. I thought it stood out as a good each way play. What it did last start in the Parks is really, really hard to do. You come circling wide and really let down sharply. It loves the track. I think losing Kayla Crowther and getting Jess Eaton on, we haven't lost anything there. I think it makes a really good each way play, and hopefully you can sneak into a placing and even better, take the chocolates.
Yeah, Flying Award. Kayla's jumped onto Flying Award, who loomed up last start. I thought, oh, here we go. This is the time that you jump on it. We all know this horse really well.
He hasn't done much, has he? He hasn't lived up to any of the predicted hype of early days. Bagman going with a bit of different form here, of course. Great Diviner and Zoist, I think, last start were in a big battle down the straight there. Great Diviner, if he's accepted in Saturday at Morphettville as well, I think, which was what Bagman was alluding to. He's also in at Moonee Valley. So he could be our first nominee for the Scratching.
There it is. 3 races in 2 days.
Juppy's new pop-up race, the Scratching.
Fair income. Like dual acceptors. Just anyway.
All right.
Oh, speaking of train, no. While we're there, can we just put another one into the trainers?
You do you.
Can we?
You do you.
Lunch
DK.
yesterday with a guy who's got plenty of horses.
Okay.
Said he's got a bill from a recent trainer. Then it's a new price.
Whoa.
190 a day. Plus.
Wow.
180 plus GST plus. That's what trainers are charging up to
That
charging
is
now.
ridiculous.
Yep. A leading Melbourne trainer.
Well, the prize money's gone up. The price of horses has gone up, and now they're just slugging you.
Plus GST.
Hopefully, he's paying his staff more money. I'd be disappointed if the staff of that said stable hasn't all got a pay rise in these tough times. Leading trainer. Well, I can't wait to get the goss off air with that one. So, yeah, just make sure on Friday, if you're betting the Morphettville Parks track, it's could be a bit leaderish there. Let's have a look at Saturday at Morphettville, back onto the main track there. We've got race 4, which is the Little Birdie Lager handicap. Odds courtesy of TopSport on the screen. And Yulong Phelps, last up winner at Swan Hill, has been backed early, 240 into 215. Specialism, $6.50. Chosen Blonde, $8. K-Siri, $8.50. Jotty, $9.50. Array of Sunshine, $14. What You Want, similar quote. And then Cotillion is $21 and 30s or better the rest. Bagman, you're going to go straight into the Yulong Phelps replay here in the Yulong Jupp colours, in the green and the white at Swan Hill on debut. Danny O'Brien trained.
Yes, one for the Olympic fans with Yulong Phelps looming up here at Swan Hill and putting him away. I'm sure DK would have a comment or two about this victory. Look, it was really impressive this day, but it was put away. We've seen it at a recent Flemington jump out. Look, ultra impressive winning there. Look, I'm sure when they won this day at Swan Hill, they had better races and a benchmark 68 in Morphettville in mind. Todd Pannell takes the ride. Danny O'Brien has brought a couple over for the Lightning Stakes, which is the feature race on Saturday. I think Yulong Phelps will be paying for the expenses of the stable and getting the job done, and Todd Pannell will get another one in the premiership race against Jess Eaton.
DK, any thoughts here?
Yes, thoughts, yes. This is a horse that the Hayes have lost. That was with Hayes when it won that race at Swan Hill.
Correct.
I would be treating it as a blank canvas. I wipe my ass with 975 metre form at Swan Hill. I reckon it means nothing. All it shows the horse has got speed, but it beat Walkers. So, but it's with a new stable, so it can be treated as a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Because it's 1100 first up on the weekend.
Different gravy.
Yeah, it's just So, and I'd be going off the jump out, particularly off the jump out. I'd be rating it off that and the fact that Danny O'Brien's a good stable. He's taken it over there, and he's kicking it off at 1100 first up, which is a completely different kettle of fish than 975 around Swan Hill. So, I'd be going off the jump out and looking at the market, looking at how the market jump out groupies are the fastest fingers of anyone there, and just going bang, 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 bang. They're all got a big horn for it, so that's what I'd be going off anyway.
You get Todd Pannell as well, who I think Jess has a eye in the race as well, but I think Todd's nearing 1,000 winners, so this might be one that goes close to bringing it up. I think he's on 998 or something like that. So, who's your tip so far, Bagman? Who you got in the premiership now?
Well, it's pretty tight, isn't it? I think Jess Eaton has the pick of the rides for Friday. Todd has a couple nice rides on Saturday, including Bo Rosser, who you would have seen, obviously, over there in Victoria. We favourite in the Lightning. But, look, I might have a little favouring just to Jess Eaton with the book of rides over the 2 days. I reckon she might be able to get one back on Todd. Michael Hickmont, who's the the stable she rides for is really loaded up for Friday and Saturday. I think they're trying to get her over the line, and she might just pip Todd, I think. But hopefully Todd will get some success here with Yulong Phelps.
Yeah, well, those last 2 races on the Saturday, Bagman mentioned the Lightning Stakes. Todd's on Bo Rossa, Jess is on Valaquenta. They pretty much dominate the market there. And then the last race, Todd's on Great Diviner. So if he scratches from the other 2 races and runs there, Jess is on Echoes and Attorney. Great Diviner 310, Echoes and Attorney 550. So if it comes down to those last 2 races, it'll be an absolute battle of those 2 horses in the market.
Lots of narrative. It's outstanding. Is it back page of the Adelaide Advertiser over there, Bagman?
Oh, we've had a whole 10-page lift out this week every day. It's Todd Panel, Jess Eaton, what are they having for breakfast? It's everything. No, not too much at all, mate.
Oh, I think Koshy might be taking up the airways there, but that'd be no surprise. Fantastic stuff. All right, well, that could be a little bit of a banker there. Yulong Phelps, as long as it doesn't get too wobbly in the market. Another little DK Pearly likes the horses to stay hard in the market, don't you, DK?
Oh, particularly at that price point. Yeah. You don't want to play. But it's got a good trainer. The jump out people have got a big horn for it. So and it looks like it's got good talent. But very interesting. It'd be interesting. I don't know whether how many horses Yulong had with the Hazes, and
we should have asked Juppy.
Have they pulled them all out from Hazes, or it'd be interesting whether it's another client they've lost. So interesting times up there. 2 young blokes. Well,
best of luck to them out at Lindsay Park. It's never easy as a young fella trying to make it in the game, and someone who has is our Bonampelli. Shane beat the Bagman. He's going for the $11 roughie on Friday, going Gaga, and we will be going Gaga if it wins, and we'll just be ploughing into Yulong Phelps. And I think Walt is. I think he's. We're going to probably announce that he's ineligible for the Brownlow. So I think Bet Doctor, it's yours to lose unless Nico Noonan gets a little Hail Mary on our Bet Dr. Brownlow for the year. So we'll see how that unfolds.
I'm not ruling myself out.
No, of course not.
Big few months coming up. I think I'm back in the game.
Outstanding stuff. All right, Bagman, we'll let you enjoy your freedoms. Just be careful. Don't check in at a winery if you're out and about. You could end up in Medi Hospital, and I'm sure they have the races on anyway over there with racing.com. So go on, check in, have a couple of reds, and enjoy the weekend.
Will do, boys. And DK, loving the shirt. Looking very sharp, brother.
Oh, yeah, Bagman. Yes, just while you're there, I'm heading into heading into .com today. You got any?
He's our correspondent.
Anything on the top of your mind? What's your major wagering issue at the moment, or anything? Any comments or anything? Deductions?
Well, I think the deductions will be right up there, and probably just due acceptances all round. I think there should be a time that they have to pull the pin, I reckon, on where they're heading.
Okay, yep, fair enough too.
Well, it's the same old tune, us punters. At least we got something to complain about, and maybe crowds. Maybe getting Nico Noonan back on track is another big one. All right, thanks, Bagman. Good luck on the weekend.
Thanks, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Up next, we're going to talk Moonee Valley. Nico won't be there, but he'll be doing his best, no doubt, and we'll have a look at a couple of his best races up next. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. Got DK here, the punter's punter. He is dressed to the nines, ready to tell some truths on racing.com in the agenda, the punter's agenda. Looking forward to that on racing.com in the next couple of weeks. And Nico Noonan's going to start looking at the Moonee Valley card. There's a couple of horses that we've been backing in the last few weeks in the early part of the card. And it's always a good little signal when Moonee Valley kicks off and the Mackenzie Stakes in a couple of weeks. You know that the good racing is back. So sad you can't be there, Nico, but you found a couple of races that you like to sink your teeth into.
Yeah, it looks a decent card at Moonee Valley. There's Jigsaw's going around early in the day. I'm Thunderstruck ran a huge figure on the punting form data last start that would suggest he is group class anywhere he goes. So the pattern of the day is going to be interesting. And then Buckhurst, who had his last run in the Cox Plate, goes around first up over 2,040 metres. So there's a bit of class on this program. I sort of went looking more to the quaddie legs to find an angle. Interesting thing, there could be rain on the day as well, which, as we saw sort of All-Star Mile Day and a few other meetings at Moonee Valley, doesn't really pose too well for that track. So bit of a watch and act. Don't think it's a day where you sort of betting up too much. But yeah, I think later in the day there's a bit of value for sure.
All right, let's have a look at the first of the quaddie legs. It's race 6 over 1,600 metres. It's Victoria Wayfield Club, Lady of Racing Handicap, and we've got Godaline, $4.60 into $4.40, White Hibiscus $5.50, Betcha Flying from the Wally Yard $7, So You Assume $8, Lady Dioro, $9. Why Choose Her, $9. Liel, $12 and $16 for Florent. And you can get a similar quote for Silver Lake and much better the rest. We're going to have a look at Betcha Flying, the replay from Caulfield last time, Nico, over 1,700 in the Cerise.
Yeah, here she is, Betcha Flying, just back in the Cerise there. Colours we don't see too often anymore, but very prominent back in the day. She's not exactly a horse who wins out of turn. She's only had 3 wins in her career. I thought this race was a very good representation of how well this horse is going this prep, though. She hits a line strong here in a much stronger race than what she's running on Saturday. She's back to benchmark 78 fillies and mares grade. This was against a good sort of class of horse. I think this is a benchmark 84. The run price, she SP'd $7 and a benchmark 90. So she's well back in grade here. She's only had 3 wins. 2 of them have come 4th up, which she is there on Saturday, and 4th up when she's been back in trip. So last campaign, she won 1,600 back to 1,500. On Saturday, she's 1,700 back to 1,600. So if there's a pattern there I want to be following, maybe Chris Wallace sort of jerried to that and he's onto it. She draws barrier number 4 here. She gets a lovely run on the map. Stockdale should just get her out of the gates there. And like I said, the form lines she's bringing into this are just superior to the other mares. They've sort of been running around at the midweeks and stuff, and she has proper Saturday form. I think $7 is a respectable price. Like I said, she doesn't win out of turn, and she'll need a little bit of luck. But if she can get that, she'll probably be very hard to beat, I think. She's 1 of 2 bets I'm keen to have in the race. I think it's pretty much a 2-horse race between her and White Hibiscus, who drops big time in the weight off meeting Godeline last start. We look at the form and you say, well, Godeline beat her. She drops 4 kilos in the weights, keeps Craig Williams, and now potentially finds a fast run race, which is where we see White Hibiscus at her best. She bolted in last preparation at Sandown when she found a fast run race. Hopefully that Moonee Valley 1,600 metres, Willow can just get her in from the nice draw. $5.50 and $7. I was happy to back both. Thought that was probably one of the better sort of bracket bets on the day. I think Godeline, with that jump in the weights, wide draw, keeps the apprentice. I think there's enough to be against there. So Betcha Flying and White Hibiscus for me.
CJ Waller is a massive pattern trainer and sort of reminds me of DK Weir. He was really big on patterns, and DK Weir was always dominant at Moonee Valley. He used to take rock hard fit horses to Moonee Valley all the time and win a lot of races. So I sort of like the setup, and I can see where Nick's going with Betcha Flying. Any thoughts, DK?
Yeah, place.
To back at the place.
Oh, yeah.
$2.50 the place.
$2.50 the place. Just as multis, do whatever you like, footy, throw it in
Moral
there.
the place.
Well, it's 3 wins and 10 placings from like 22 starts or something.
So it's
like
honest, but
really, really honest. Like, doesn't win out of turn, but Nico's saying it's a good race for it there, so it might be a chance to break through. But geez, it's very, very, very good chance to run. It's better than 6-4 chance to run a place, I would have thought.
Okay, we'll just skip through to race 9, and we're going to have a look at one Imperial Lad here in the TopSport handicap over 1,200 metres. But Flash Flood, J Carr, Seema and D Eustace is the favourite. $4 here. Foxy Lady $5.50. Wilmot Pass $6. Imperial Lad $7.50. Rock in the Park $9. Melodian $11. Same quote, out to win. And then Montenegro Man $12. Similar quote to Mr. Cancun and Rolls, and you can get $14 or better the rest. We're going to have a look at Imperial Lad last start in the Maloney colours. Here, Nico.
Yeah, he's up on speed here, just in the green and white. This is a good, tough fighting win. Rolls is back in the field. I was on him this day. I was a bit sick he didn't get the victory, but that's sort of that pattern of that horse getting back in the field. He's an emergency here, so I don't think he'll get a run. Imperial Lad's just super tough, though. This was a good win first up with the apprentice aboard. You look back through his form, last preparation. He just seems to race consistently every start. He puts himself up on speed. I think he maps to find the front here. He gets Alana Kelly aboard. She takes the 3 kilo claim. So when you're looking at this race, he actually gets in pretty well at the weights. Although for being top weight and you think, well, he's got 63.5, you factor in that 3 kilo claim, and then how even this weight scale is, he's in very well at the weights here. Like I said, I think Kelly will just send him straight to the front. There doesn't look a whole lot of speed in the race. A lot of these horses are get back, run on sort of sprinters. Could be advantaged on the day at Moonee Valley to be sort of nearer the inside lanes. Looking through the punting form data on the lane statistics there, which you can go through. Definitely the lanes sort of 1, 2, 3 have been the places to be when this rail is in use. Whether the wet track can sort of shy away from that and maybe assist the back markers, not 100% sure, but sort of looking at an early form point of view, I thought $7.50, you could make a clear angle that this horse should be favourite in this race, and with potential of a horse like Rolls coming out, Flash Flood's 5th emergency, I doubt he gets a run. He's your $4 favourite, so there will be some deductions here. if they come out and it's just, the 12 sort of going around that's the acceptance field, I think Imperial Lad's very hard to beat with in-form apprentice on.
Well, there will only be deductions at Sportsbet, which is, that's a prime example there with a favourite's fourth emergency. It's a shit show. You're not worried about Imperial Lad just being a first upper? Like, I see he's very good fresh.
He is good fresh, but I think more to the point of his last campaign, he just kept rising in the grade when he was sort of going through and running as consistent as he was. I think he stays in a very similar sort of race here. A lot of them are get-back run-on horses. We back Rock in the Park last start on the mounting yard stuff at 40s. He comes here in at 9s and is drawn barrier number 1. I'd be interested in him if he drew out.
He's going to have a good prep, that horse.
Yeah.
My second up, he might be vulnerable, but gee whiz, I liked his... ran good sections there at Sandown. That what he won for you?
Yeah, he just could find a bit of bad luck from the draw. Like Wilmot Pass doesn't win out a turn. I thought Foxy Lady's jump outs were a bit average. Mr. Cancun looks like he's here for a bit of a barrier trial from barrier number 16. So he'll put himself up on speed. Imperial Lad, that's where you want to be. And Callie's flying. So
she's flying. It's going to be another test for Moonee Valley. Moonee Valley's a different track to ride. You've got to think your way through Moonee Valley, but you're saying it's going straight to it's going to be on pace up near the front. Keep it pretty simple for it.
Outside lead at worst, I reckon.
Yep.
So the 3 kilo claim for Kelly, maybe not so much the first time she had a genuine look and some good rides at Moonee Valley, but you think could be a bit of an edge. I think Gillo tweeted it out a week or two ago about Alana Kelly and said, this is a jockey to watch.
Yeah, she's flying. And I tell you what I like about her. Like, you do pick her. I like soaking up content. I don't listen to trainers tips their horses, but I like hearing how they speak about them. Do they know what they're talking about? Their demeanour, like Mick Price, cool, calm, collect. Alana is just... She's not hard. She's just tough. Like they'll ask her questions, and she just gives them flat, hard answers. Like she's just steely. That's the biggest thing I picked up about her. She wouldn't be intimidated by Ollie or D Lane or anything. She's just really got a steely personality, and I reckon that's one reason why she's got the talent. But I just like that about her. She's just tough.
Yep.
She doesn't get carried away pumping things up or anything. She just calls it how it is. I was just really impressed with her in her post race. She's,
Well, definitely a jockey to follow with a good claim in the metro tracks and definitely in the bush in the provincial stuff.
I'll tell you a funny story about her.
Okay.
About quickly.
Yeah.
Kelvin Burke was my trainer down at
of course.
So I'm in his phone. I'm in his phone, of course, and the phone rings. And my horse is not in work anymore, but the phone rings. It's Kelvin Burke. So K Burke, what's he ringing me for? Yes, K Burke, and he says, "Can Alana ride 3 jump outs for me tomorrow?" I said, "You got the wrong Dan Kelly, you imbecile. Like her old man's Dan Kelly from Ballarat, and he's rung me and says, Alana, ride jump outs."
What'd you say? Yes. Yeah, outstanding stuff. All right, there you go. There's Nico's best bets for the Valley this week. And if you want his race-to-race stuff, you can head to the Little Birdie shop and you can get his mounting yard mail. It's $11 a meeting, so he's eyes on the ponies, and you can get his punting form assessments through there. So you get the lot, so it's a pretty good price there. And DK's provincial stuff will keep churning away. I think he's got Pakenham over the weekend.
Pakenham Polly, 1 meeting left. But,
and then we'll just crack into August. All the good horses start to come back. So these boys will be all over it.
Looking at the recent trials and jump outs, like they're everywhere. All the young horses are starting up.
The slipper winner comes back out. Waltz horse, stay inside. Horse that we've tipped up before. So yeah, it does help get you out of bed when the good horses come back. So make sure you jump on board those guys if you want a helping hand, or you can do it yourself at puntingform.com.au. We're going to take a quick break, and we've mentioned his name before, John Walter. He's in ISO. He's up at Brisbane on the back of a little jaunt to the UK. Don't know if he saw Casey McCutcheon, but I think Mintbet, he'll be back in the country shortly over the next couple of weeks, so we're going to get Casey back to the show. Have missed his antics, and next we'll talk Johnny Walter. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. We've got DK and Nico in studio, but it's time to talk to our old friend Big Red. He's back from the UK. He's in ISO, so we thought we'd check in for a little bit of a COVID special with our man Johnny Walter. How are you, pal?
Well, apparently I'm not looking too fresh, but other than that, battling away.
How many days into the siege are you? And I'm not talking about the standoff with Racing New South Wales. We'll get to that later. How many days into quarantine are you off the back of the British Open trip?
What day is it? Thursday? I think I get out next Wednesday, so I must be a week in, a week neat. 3:30 a.m. last Wednesday.
So you can't do the form, you can't bet. What can you do?
What are you doing? Swinging the golf club? Anything else?
I did get lucky. I'll take you on, mate. This is good. Actually, I got lucky. I was nice to the police officer, as you always should be in life, right? And then I got the nice room with the 360 whatever. And then I've got the nice wife who's dropped off the microwave, the push bike, putting green,
frozen grapes.
We've got the basketball ring. We've got 3 computers. We've got everything going. So we're defeating boredom as best we can. Beck's really loving it when I always forget one thing off the list and she's got to drive another hour to drop it off. But she's been a trooper.
So how was the golf over there? I was buoyed by the little round by round updates when I slid into your DMs because I was backing Morikawa, and after every round you just said, "Oh, he can't win." So all we did was just charge the line.
We play 9 with him and some other bloke. Anyway, mate, he couldn't take the putter away. He was changing grips, everything, and then I was talking to his caddy. His caddy goes, we just try everything each week, and then I pick which one I think looks best, and we run with it for the week. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, you're going to shoot 9,000 and putt like a spastic, and obviously I reverse mocked him into greatness. But the other fella, it shows like the other guy we played 1.5 rounds with, was that Justin Harding or something, mate. I would have given him 5 aside the way he was playing. And I think he ran top 20 there, got beaten a playoff in the European Tour the week later. So, it's just it's a frustrating game, golf, but it was good to be a part of it. Good to be up close and personal. I walked around with Rory's mum and dad there the third round after we'd unfortunately missed the cut, but that was good fun. And yeah, there was a lot of highlights. Phil Mickelson stole my omelette. I gave him a mouthful. That was a good week.
And you didn't get the call up for the Racing.com Punters Agenda show. I think the representatives are Sir Richard Irvine, king of the minimum bet laws. We've got DK, Little Birdie own, and Shane Curlew. The viewers would remember him from our Stratosphere and our Bulldozer events back in the day. But you didn't get the call up, Walt. So any questions that DK can fire into racing officialdom on your behalf?
I've got a few, but I don't know if I'm allowed to pose them. No, it's no. I just hope they get a good outcome. Obviously, I've had a quick look through. I don't know if I'm allowed to read about racing. I'm obviously not to talk about it, but I had a quick through a lot of the questions, and they're all the same sort of old ones, and a few new. But it's more about people wanting things to fall in line with the old days. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but hopefully we can sort of find a bit of a neutral ground that everyone's at least able to play within.
And speaking of playing within, what's the update of Racing New South Wales and your situation? We've sort of joked in the past, and you've sort of been able to tip and bet and do things, and now you've sort of bunkered down and you can't do anything. What's the Walt update, or what's your little scenario now?
January 7 at the moment before I'm allowed to do anything again, so I don't know if I've got to reapply or what the story is, but it was certainly far more obviously didn't work out as I hoped, and far more detailed as into what I can and can't do going forward, including social media and all sorts of things. So got to be very careful not to cross any lines between now and then, and obviously fully intend on doing that, and then hopefully it comes and goes quick, and we're back into it early in the new year.
I think, yeah.
So what's the date? Have you got a date set?
It's January 7.
I think it's January 7 because I had to stay there until I went to appeal. And then after the appeal, I gave that stay up. We're going further, but that depends on a lot of things, including lockdown. Sydney might not open up before January 7. So hopefully at worst, that's the latest I'll be back in play.
Just a shame you can't do any travelling and that, but I just say people have done similar suspension. I'm thinking Kieran Maher did 6 months J-Mac and that blokes like
He
they
went
come
and saw
back
the world.
bigger.
Kieran
Yeah, but he went and travelled Kieran Maher and betted himself and had a great break away from the bubble. But they're back bigger and stronger than ever. Maher's come back and just gone to next level, and
Domination.
J-Mac's flying, and Waldeby back bigger and better than ever. But it's just a shame you can't travel. I mean, I saw in the thing is trying to get back from the UK was a nightmare or something, wasn't it? And
I would have stayed in the UK. That was it. But it was that last lot of tightening up of the flight. So I wouldn't have gone actually if it wasn't for I had a visa waiver for the US, and there was a flight came up that was reasonable return, and sort of did the first leg, went to check into the second leg, and I was coming home earlier than I probably wanted to, but again, just guaranteed sort of to get home, I believed, so sort of left quite quickly instead of doing other things I would this week would have been interesting to go to, but went to check in at Old British Airways, and because the UK government had opened up, like open slather basically, I think they're one of the first to basically go back to normal, no face mask, nothing. The US withdrew my visa waiver and didn't sort of let you know. So you lobby in their British Airways, like, nah, sorry, it's been retracted. And then I'm like, does anyone can help me? No. Ring the consulate? No. So then straight to trying to find a flight, and the consulate's like, yeah, that's okay. You can apply for the next repatriation flight. 22nd of September is the latest we're taking.
Wow.
You're not guaranteed to get on it, but you can apply for it. I'm like, But Emirates got me a good one. I ended up, rang back, pulled the trigger, sort of said, there's some sort of flight, 7,000 or something. So I book it. Woman's like, no worries. Within 4 hours, you get your tickets. Sat up waiting, no. 6 o'clock, rang back. They said, sorry, we'll look into it. 6 o'clock in the morning, I get an email, you're on the waiting list. I'm like, that's interesting. Check my bank account. They've taken the money. So I ring him back. He said, yeah, sorry. What's happened is there was a waiting list. The lady's taken the ticket off to put the payment through, and it's gone to the other person. So, yeah, we've got your money, but you don't get your ticket. Like, this is good. So then someone gave me a heads up. Flight Centre had released a few tickets that they were holding. Same flight, 12,000 now.
Oh, God.
Can't use the 7 that they've got. You've got to wait for them to refund that and then produce another 12 for the same flight that you'd booked for 12 hours before. Anyway, it was worth it and got home because it looks like it's getting worse and it's a big night. I guess sort of had a few people direct contact me and stuff saying, how did you get back? Because we can't, but probably
Cash
lucky
is
to
king.
be able to at least
20
pull the
grand,
trigger.
yeah, beautiful.
It's a bad day
That's
at
just-
the punt.
Yeah, that's just
it.
a bad hour for you, Walt.
Anyway, he's back.
Well, you'll, I'm sure on January 7th you'll be able to turn that around quickly, and that'll just coincide with our Magic Millions Day stream. So hopefully I'll be able to
First bloke you'll see is me.
bang DK. I'll fly DK up there, get Johnny McLeod, and we'll just absolutely
Like
drive
last
you
time.
crackers.
Only excitement I get, like I can't even log into my tab account; it's frozen. But only excitement I get is the reaction to the old DK late mail or whatever. So living vicariously through everyone else for the next few months. But I'm sure I'll find something to keep me busy.
I'm sure you can bet on the Olympics, and I tipped out the Aussies at $31 in the eights in the rowing. So I think the men's eights, they won the fours.
It should suit our boys, and Japanese golf should suit our boys. Both pretty accurate. Slow greens won't hurt them. It'll be good to watch that. Like I couldn't have timed it better from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like if you can't enjoy sport at the moment, who are you? Who are
Yeah,
you?
exactly. All right, you might have just have to flare up in other sports. But all right, thanks for the update, Walt. Good luck for the next week in lockdown. Sounds like fresh hell, but I'm sure you'll get through it, and we look forward to you joining
I'll try
us.
and freshen up for Nico. I'll put on a bit of makeup and that next time for him. Is that all right? Any suggestions?
I was just pointing out the obvious.
Send it through to me.
I don't know if you're allowed to open the windows, but a bit of tanning through the window.
No
Get
windows,
that vitamin
mate.
D.
No windows. And I
Get that-
spoke to the guy
take
downstairs
your shirt
last
off.
night. He's a golfer. And he's like, mate, I promise you, I've inspected that room myself. There is no way to crack it. There's no secret squirrel doors, but I had a shot.
Our good friend Jeremy at Coogee, he doesn't mind opening the window at his new pad in Coogee and gets the sun in there. So I think that's what you need to do, especially being a redhead. You might have to put the sunscreen on so you don't get the glare off the window. But thanks for joining us, Walt. And sadly, won't see you to the new year, but gone, but definitely not forgotten. I'm sure he'll pop
Finding
up
winners
somewhere.
and get into them, DK. Don't let that Richard Irvine chip in for the bloody corporates. Steamroll him.
Steve Riley. All right. Noted.
Cheers, mate.
See you, Walt. All right, outstanding stuff there, Walt. So he's been shadow banned by Racing New South Wales, so we won't hear much from him. But let's have a quick look at the TopSport big bets, where the early money's gone. The first one here out at Adelaide on Saturday, race 2, number 4, Reynolds 1,000 at $4.40. Similar form lines.
Bagman tipped that one day when it won, I remember.
Yeah, it won at Oakbank. It's an ex-Hong Kong horse. It's a bit of a head case this year.
Heckmont.
I thought it sort of loomed up the other day and might have just found out its class there. So it's into $3.90 at TopSport there. And I think the next one is Eagle Farm that we've got. It's Eagle Farm race 4, number 1, Alpine Edge. When I first read that, I thought, oh, Alpine Eagle, I know that horse, but that's a horse many moons ago.
By Alpine Eagle, Alpine Edge. He was a pretty progressive 2-year-old going back to the summer. So I reckon he'd be first up there on Saturday. So maybe where there's smoke, there's fire with that bet.
Jaden Lord for the Edmonds camp. So they're absolutely white hot. But that looks a little white hot race, that one. There's a couple of handy ones in that one. That's for sure. But I think that's a wrap from us. Been a entertaining show. Juppy probably best on ground, I would have thought.
Jupster. Yeah, a great man.
Good luck.
Man of the people.
Good luck down in racing.com
yes,
headquarters.
Next few hours down there.
Give a little shout out to Little Birdie.
I'll do my best. Yes,
Yeah.
will. Yep, for sure. No,
Pump the tyres up and just keep them honest. Hopefully, none of the good stuff gets left on the cutting room floor.
I thought Walsh's quarantine setup was actually pretty good.
Walt,
sorry.
Yeah, he doesn't miss out. Walt, he's a sharp operator.
He's got
The exercise bike, the putting green.
The missus only an hour away, so she's gone and delivered all the grouse. I think he's even got an air fryer in there. So Juppy might have to send some air frying recipes and some tricks and techniques for Walt to crack it out. But 2 weeks, it doesn't seem like a long time, but God, it is. It's a tough slog that, but. Timed it exceptionally well with the Olympics. He'll be all over top ropes, torches there. All right, that's a wrap from us. We're available in the Apple Store, Spotify, and SoundCloud as well if you're not tuning into us on YouTube. If you want to see the replays, make sure you jump on our YouTube, Little Birdie TV, and check out the sports show as well. Lots of good banner and betting when you're in lockdown. So good luck everyone on the weekend, and hopefully we can get a result.
Sounds good.
See you guys.